going on, man? Back at another video, man. Hit the subscribe button. I'm gonna tell you my story on my situation when I went to PICAT Verification. I'm going in as an officer, but this is gonna pertain to anybody that is actually going through the process, whether you're enlisted, ROTC, whatever you want to call it. It'll be all applicable. We're gonna be in the same boat. So I'm gonna give you my tidbits, tell you my story, and see if any of y'all can relate to it and help you guys out through the process, so you guys are not left out in the dark or surprised and don't know what to expect, man. Like I said, hit the subscribe button, man. Let's get it. So how it's gonna run, right? So pretty much the PICAT is pretty much just an unsupervised, ASVAB that you'll take. You can do it from home, or you can do that at recruitment office. Most people don't even tell you that you gotta do it. You can do it from home, so you can do it. Just let them know off the cuff that you're gonna do it. Like they say, hey, I want to take the ASVAB from home. They'll send you the little link. They'll tell you to log in, all that stuff, and you just take it from house, so you don't have to be in a rush. I had a little situation about that. That'd be a story from another day. But remember though, like you gotta do the verification too though. So don't cheat and don't get Christmas tree. Definitely don't Christmas tree it, because you're gonna have to go there and answer those questions. And if you don't remember what you put, then you're gonna have to probably go on a full ASVAB and whatever. So you don't want to do that, especially if you ain't getting no good score. Or for me, going as an officer, I have to have a particular score to qualify. Recruiter gonna pretty much tell you a few things. You're gonna say, like dress code, you're gonna have to wear some jeans, some closed-toe shoes. If you don't, they gonna pretty much take you to the store, and you're gonna have to change, like whatever you are. They're not gonna let you in there, so they're gonna save you from that embarrassment off the gate, not going in there, and also not wasting the recruiter time. So just listen to what the man say, and make sure you have your your social security, ID. I think like you need like a diploma or a degree. You have to bring that with you. Those are your meal tickets. So when you go there, you're gonna have to fill out some forms or whatever. So I pull up. It's a good little range of people. So we get in there. And also too, like the recruiter had a very small car. I'm gonna explain this. He had a Ford Fusion. So imagine we already squished in that bad boy going to MEPS, and so you're kind of uncomfortable. So the biggest thing is like first tip of the day is going there with a nice, like, good positive mindset. I always think of things like a mental game. People kind of play on you. They put you in kind of uncomfortable positions and kind of see how you respond and react to certain situations indirectly, like some psychology type deal. So don't, especially me being an officer, just don't let things come off like they bothering you or nothing, or kind of get you messed up before you take the test. Even if they kind of playing off, they kind of want to see how you respond and stuff. And like you're gonna be prepared to be in those type of predicaments, like uncomfortable spots. So just be mindful. So me, I'm still in charge in the sense of like mindset and like going stuff. So I'm making sure like I'm going straight to the front seat. So I'm comfortable, but I'm still kind of a little squished up. But I scoot up for them or whatever. So MEPS about like 30-something minutes away. So we drive there, right? Whatever, right? And how MEPS is in Temple. They got like a little gate, and then when you walk in through the gate, it's like a little tent, and they got a guy right there. Then you walk in, all that stuff like that. So I walked to the tent. So I said, "Hey, my name whoop de whoop de whoop," and he couldn't find it. So I'm like, "Is that any problem?" So he was like, "Nah, he capping, like dead serious. He don't even know." I'm gonna explain why. So I go through the metal detector, right, and I go through the office or whatever, and they kind of tell me like. Whatever. So I said, hey, I'm coming in to do the little PICAT verification. Make sure you let them know that you're doing a PICAT, because they'll put you in the ASVAB. You won't even know. So make sure, also number 2, make sure you say and articulate what you want. Don't assume just because they got on paper. Confirm everything. Make sure everything is in writing, confirm, and you read what it says. Because a lot of times they might make an honest mistake, or they don't even be listening to what you're saying. So you don't want to end up going there taking a ASVAB when you're supposed to be doing the verification. You don't want to do that. So make sure you good on that. So I did that. I went and reminded him twice, hey, I'm taking a PICAT verification, and that's it, nothing else. And then I think a personality says I gotta take 2 though. But so here's where the issue came in at. When I went to the office and I got taken a PICAT, they said, okay, cool. And then they hand me a little slip, like a little note saying, oh, I'm not registered for the test. I'm like, how am I registered for the test? He's like, yeah, you're not registered, because I took the PICAT the day before that, and he kind of put me, I did it late in the afternoon, so I guess it wasn't registered that I was in there. So I had to go all the way to the back to get registered. Man, that thing took, I'm not even exaggerating, man, it took almost 2 hours. No lie, I'm sitting in there for 2 hours. And also, too, make sure, you see I got the jacket on, make sure you got your jacket when you in there, man. It is freezing. when you walk in there, it's cold, man. I don't care what your temperature, like have like a jacket or something like, oh, something like, maybe something thicker than this, cause you're gonna be kind of cold in there. Like it's not gonna be fun. Like, so I finally get registered in there. Like after 2 hours, I'm supposed to take the test like at 12. Man, it's 2 o'clock. Like it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon now. I ain't even take my test yet. So I walk in, so they take the test. Then they finally register for the test. I sit down. I'm waiting to get this called up so I can go take the test. So literally, they finally call my name up. I go in, and that's enough. I gotta wait again. So I see the people that I came in to the test, they leaving. So I'm about to go in. So I'm like, oh my God, like, but I didn't know how long the test was. So I end up going to take the test, the PICAT. I'm gonna explain the PICAT, whatever, right? The process. Here's what it gets annoying at, because I scored really well on my PICAT. I got an 88 on mine. I did pretty well on mine for the most part to get in. I qualified for the officer verified. So man, I ain't gonna hold you. How they do the PICAT, right? How I kind of sensed it was, they kind of tell me that like, it's 30 questions. It's gonna be 15 questions you got right, 15 questions you got wrong, and then you gonna like just kind of guess, like kind of guess, match up what you put. Man, it was nothing like that at all. I'm not even exaggerating. It was 30 questions. It was damn near taking another PICAT again. It was only 4 questions. I got great memory. It was only 4 questions that was from the PICAT that I took. Make sure you get those right. I think if you miss those, you kind of done for it. And then it was 26 questions that was original like question. So that's like so I did that. I'm thinking I'm about to fail the verification because like it's a fresh question, and on top of that, but what I noticed though, right? They don't tell you that it's in the paper. If you read the if you read the little handbook they give you, it's like in the back it says like to make sure you pass the verification, you just gotta get half the answers right. You gotta get 100% of the repeat questions right though. They gonna give you like the one, whatever question you ironically did the best at, well based on my test that I had the highest general scores at. Most of my exam, my PICAT that I took, if I remember, I took a lot of it was a lot of automotive and the one with the pulleys. I did a lot of it was a lot of those questions. It was like 90% and then a couple little math questions, like a couple word association questions. It was like a couple word association questions. Those are the ones I did the best at. Not my strongest suit, because everything that all my scores are pretty much right there. So if I got like, for example, like I got like a like on an AS, I got like a 54 on there. But I have another one that's a EI, I got a 55 on there, and I got another one that's a 69, 59, and stuff like that. But everything pretty much kind of right there. So I can easily got a whole bunch of other scores. So I think they're gonna give you your strongest. So another tip is that when you study for your verification, just kind of get refreshed on whatever you did the worst at or the best at, and then you should be good. They're not gonna ask you nothing to meet. It's gonna be your best ones or your worst ones. Cause I didn't see any like 15 questions wrong, 15 questions. I didn't get that. I only saw 4 questions that I did from the test. After I finished that, I had to take the personality quest. They're gonna ask you a lot of weird questions like, would you run off a building full speed, or would you walk backwards into oncoming traffic or something like that? It'd be a lot of weird questions they ask you. I don't know the merit on it, but it was a lot of weird questions on there. A lot of situational questions that they're gonna ask you. So, but it's very time. It's like it's an hour and 45 minutes. So imagine that was an hour and 45, and that was an hour and 45. So because they was just leaving while I was entering, so they finished both the PICAT and the personality test before I even show up. But I know they took the PICAT for sure. Most of them did. They ain't take the full ASVAB. I know they was taking the ASVAB because I asked them and whatnot. And that was crazy. Not to mention that like when you get there, you gonna be like just sitting there the whole time. So when I finish my PICAT, right, I'm sitting there. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. At least 45 minutes after I took my exam, after I took my my entire test. So I'm waiting on the guy to come get me. And like I said, patience is key, but you also gotta be assertive. But you gotta be subtly assertive. Like on certain things, you gotta make certain little actions. Not like obvious, like hey, to be disruptive, but you gotta make some type of noise that they'll recognize. Like, okay, you need assistance, come over here, without having to say something. Like, put your hand up. You gotta be that type of servant, because if you don't say nothing, they gonna like assume that you good for the most part. So make sure you speak up, or at least do something non-verbally that's not distractive towards everybody else, but that's directive that you can get the attention towards the instructor, literally. So that's what I did, and I ended up finally getting out. And then here's where the real dilemma come up. We waiting to get out. And this is rule number. This is why I say, man, if you got a lot of people in the whip, man, you better off driving. So we had to wait another like hour to get picked up from MEPS or whatever. We finally get picked up. It's like 5 o'clock. Like, imagine, I supposed to be at 12. We already there for 5 hours. It's already 5 o'clock. Here's where it gets more nasty. We going to get something to eat. Remember, it was 4 people in the car. It was me, 2 guys, and a girl, and then also the driver. We in a Ford Fusion. We already humbugged in there like sandwiches. So guess what ended up happening? We had another person that he had to pick up. We had to squeeze another person in the whip. So another chick come up. She a bigger chick. So we all squeezing this thing like sardines, man. I'm uncomfortable, so I gotta lean like this, go like this. I gotta be on the side or whatever. And they had that thing freezing there, man. I swear to God, it's like 85 degrees in that motherfucker. And the car is like 60, 65, humbugged up, like everything, man. But I'll be real with you. If it's more than 2 people in the whip, you better off driving there. I ain't gonna hold you, because you got, not only you gotta wait on you to finish, but you also gotta wait on everybody to finish. They're not gonna pick everybody up unless you just like light speed finish and everything, because the bus gonna come, or a person gonna come up out on a court, like on a certain time frame. You're not gonna keep driving back and forth 30, 40 minutes unless everybody kind of done. So you pretty much gonna wait on everybody. So if you got a whip and you see 3 more people come with you, man, you better all drive in your example. By the time we get back to the recruit routes, it's like 7 o'clock, and that was aggravating because like I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I didn't expect to be there, but like they were cool though, like they were cool, like for sure, like recruiting everybody was cool. It just like just be mindful, like on like, you know what I'm saying, like be prepared to be longer than expected, because the military people are gonna take their time. They're not gonna be in any rush to get you anywhere but you need to be. You're gonna have to listen to what they say. You're gonna have to follow directions, orders, and be assimilated to what they got going on. But I would say in your breath, you need to be very strategic on how you're gonna allocate your time and be effective and very observant on the situations, and know how to move very methodically throughout the process. Me personally, I don't like people trying to take in control in the sense of like controlling my time. So if I have the opportunity to do something that I can potentially control on my sense and get something a lot faster, I would say get your car and drive yourself. No matter what the distance is, if it's 30 minutes, man, take that drive. I'm not saying everybody do it, but most people do it. The process is pretty solid, but it's gonna be a big waiting game. You gotta be patient. So that's my experience, and also hit the subscribe button, or whatever. Follow my journey, going into the as an officer. So it's gonna be pretty good. I get to tell y'all some tricks, tips, and all that stuff like that. So make sure to subscribe button, man. I'm out, man. Gone.